I don't even have an Alexa because I fucking can't stand that shit already. Also, I think Alexas are just expensive timers.
That's about all we use ours for.
Yeah, it's like all anybody uses it for. I swear to God, at least the one in their kitchen, I think it's sexist. I don't know. It doesn't respond to me or mom. We'll be like, Alexa off, because the timer will be going off or whatever.
Yeah.
I'll say it like 15 times, and then Dad's just like, Alexa, turn off, and it immediately does it. You bitch.
You're so right. No, that happens in our house too. It's the same exact thing.
Super annoying. I used to have one, and it would hear me occasionally say something, and it would just start talking randomly. And when you live alone and you just randomly hear talking inside your house, that's a very scary business. Like, what the fuck is that? I was like, this has to go.
None of these is worse than Siri, right? Siri is absolutely useless. And
I have that shit off. I will not. No. A chance.
You're driving and you just got to know, like, when does Walgreens close or whatever, and so you ask it.
Then I wait till I get to the light and I type that shit in myself. I hate that.
Yeah, and you're just like, send a message to Kalyn Kimmel, and it's like, what do you want me to say? And you're like, blah 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 blah, and it spins, and then it's just, and you're like, what the hell did I just tell you to do this for?
Like, great. Thank God we have this technology. It just makes life so much better. I do talk to text sometimes, but the problem is if I'm driving, then I'm a little bit of a road ragey driver. So my text will be like, hey, Robert, can we actually do what the fuck is the goddamn problem? You know?
That's hard for me to imagine, knowing what a great driver you are and calm and sedate, and you'd never wreck your car.
I know.
Any updates on the dad car?
So I've got it right now. I said, you guys just tell me whatever price you want. I don't want to fight about it or whatever. They said, that's probably worth $6,000. I was like, okay, just tell me what number you guys like. And so Mom was like, probably like $3,000. I'm like, okay, you guys are the best negotiators. Just tell me the number and I will write you a check.
Yeah, Mom does not have the secret to getting rich, which is why we're never having her on this podcast.
I remember growing up, Mom and Dad would be like anti-rich almost. Like, man, thank God we've never won the lottery. Because just imagine how many people would be calling us for money. And I'm like, yeah, but we would have like millions of dollars. We can screen calls. Yeah, it sounds awful.
Yeah, they're called good problems to have. I definitely remember Mom and Dad, we'd have events at school and they were seeking donations and volunteers, right? Well, what do? We volunteer because...
Yeah, time is worth nothing.
We've talked a little bit about target audience for this show, Kalyn, and maybe our target audience is people whose time is worth nothing. And that's why they're listening to this crap. Hey, listen to what I can do. Cue the music. Like I was saying, cue the music. Oh, it's the wrong song. Nothing's going our way.
What the hell? We're doomed.
We're doomed. We can't play this.
We should just hang up. So there's a song that's going to play.
Yeah.
I'm going to be like this.
See, you're going to be... Yes. That's about how everybody feels. That's kind of how everybody feels about this show and this song. But nevertheless, we're going to jam it down your throat. People who have more time than money. This goes out to you. Cue the music. Yes! Third time's the charm. Maybe 16th time's the charm, Kalyn, because this is episode 16. Today is July 30th. It is indeed a sweet 16. July 30th, 2024. You are listening to Robert and Kalyn Get Rich. I'm one of your hosts, Robert Kimmel. I'm the older brother. This is my co-host, Kalyn Kimmel, the younger sister. We have two parents who never come on the show, never even bother listening to the show. This will be the one they'll listen to, but I guess we've been a lot harder on them in past shows than today. But we are here to talk about money and life and just anything that we feel fit.
Good things.
Today is an episode where we've crammed it in because I know to all our faithful listeners out there, both of you, you missed last week because Kalyn was sick. So we're a little late because of that. We're a little early because of my vacation tomorrow. But you know what? We're going to put together the best podcast we can here today. But the one thing we're not going to do, what is it, Kalyn?
give financial or investment advice.
That's right. So don't listen to any of that. But there are a few things you really should do, which is...
light Mexican candles.
Yes, you should for sure do that. But another thing I would suggest is that you should smash the like button.
And the subscribe button.
And
send this to all of your friends and family, everyone you love and everyone you hate.
So not only do you
anyone you know, just send it to all.
You have more time.
This is time for a send all.
Send all right now. Everybody in your phone book, like one time I synced my phone book and it synced to all the calendars and stuff like that. So I have something like 5,000 entries in my telephone book, most of whom I don't know because they're like people Andrea worked with or connections at the company or things like that.
Right.
Yeah, so pretty soon 5,000 people are going to get an email from me recommending this podcast, and you should do the same. Hey, you mentioned Mexican candles, and I wasn't going to bring it up. We got to be choosy today because we don't have all that much time, but I was going to bring up something on Mexican candles, which is, here's an image of the one that I have in our drawer. I have two, as you can see, the Fast Luck candle and the Adam and Eve.
Alleged.
Yeah, that's the word I was going to point out, the alleged. And I'm like, who exactly is alleging that this is a fact?
For whatever reason, all of the luck ones say alleged. Not the loved ones, not the praying to Mary of Guadalupe or whatever. But I meant to bring up, I bought a second one because before the storm in Houston, I had gotten this one that was to Saint Cipriano. The prayer on there includes, please protect me from thunder and lightning and bandits on the road and like all kinds of other poison and the spears from my whatever. It's really weird. But I was like, I lit this right before the storm, and then I had power the whole time. I had internet the whole time. So I think that thunder and lightning protection. Thank you, Saint Cipriano.
Yeah, so that one absolutely works. There's no alleged about it, right, Cipriano? So
we they don't say alleged on that one.
Yeah, but this luck candle's like, it's the manufacturer saying, hey, we're not saying this is lucky, but allegedly.
I know. It's like somebody like lit it and they were like, okay, now it's on. I am about to like cash in my 401k and throw it all on black because I know I'm going to double up my money. And they're like, damn you, luck candles. I thought this was a sure thing.
You said I'd be lucky. It says right here, fast luck in money and love. And I lit it, and I lost all my money. Yeah.
And now I'm destitute. My wife left me. Yeah.
This isn't lucky at all. So the company's like, no, you don't understand. This is not a lucky candle. This is an alleged luck candle. We're not saying.
That's what some people say. Some people say it's lucky.
We would never go around saying this is a lucky candle.
The love candles that are like guaranteed, bring you love, like. By the power of Adam and Eve.
What's going on in these factories that makes them so lucky? They're sprinkling pixie dust over the candle filling machines or something, huh?
I don't know, but I saw on the lucky candles, at least here, the luck candles have number 13 on there, which I like because that was my number. So 13 is lucky for me, but I'm surprised that they have that on there because it's considered unlucky generally.
So we have a candle manufacturer here in the Cleveland area, which is Root Candle. They're like the largest supplier of candles to churches in the world. But they're a huge manufacturer of the candles that are something like these luck candles, but, like the saint candles. But they're made from a wax chipping process. You probably never thought of this, but when you go look at one of these cheap candles at Mark's or whatever, and they're made from chipping and spraying wax out of this machine, and it fills the tube with this chipped wax, and they're so much cheaper, crappier quality, but they're a huge manufacturer. It's like a whole separate candle line there when you go on the manufacturing tour.
Wow. Yeah. Interesting.
Yeah.
The next trip to Cleveland, we'll have to go. Go on the manufacturing tour of the candle factory, and I could be like, "Where's Saint Cipriano?" And what's with this alleged luck shit?
They'll be like, we have nothing to do that. We make candles for menorahs and Advent wreaths. I was going to say, the next time you're in town and you want to take a tour, we should have you in town for the next PEZ Mania. Do you want a PEZ Mania trip report?
Trip report, yes. Do I want to attend PEZmania? I mean, that was the best of the bad candy, but
Well, my finding on PEZmania was it's less about the candy and it's more about the dispensers, I think. So we're violating protocol here, right? Because we haven't done the Get Rich portfolio. So we'll get back to that. But I just thought the touring of things in Cleveland area, I thought I would share. So PEZmania is held at this convention. Holiday Inn convention center-y thing. And I rolled up to the parking lot and I was like, this is a Saturday morning, mind you, when a Holiday Inn in the business district of Independence, Ohio is not usually chock full of cars.
Not popping.
Yeah, and not popping like this. And I was like, all right, am I in the right place? And then you start to see cars like this.
Oh my gosh.
And you're like, something like the little PEZ sticker up in the window, like you might have a soccer ball sticker like that or whatever, but the
but a custom license plate PEZ head, and then of course you have to have got PEZ because it's not clear. Yeah, I like the PEZ head on board, PEZ collector stores. Gosh.
That's obviously a business, so if you're going to start a business, you might as well make a wheel cover and promote the hell out of it, so I get that.
And they're at the right place. That person makes sense for the PEZ convention. If you own a PEZ collector store, then...
Absolutely, you're in the right place. The person on the right, you can see they drove in from Wisconsin, which was pretty common for this parking lot, by the way. This turns out PEZmania is the longest running PEZ convention in the United States, right here in Cleveland, Ohio. And some people I was chatting with are like, yeah, there's this other one in Michigan and there's this other one in Florida, but this is like the biggest, grandest, oldest of them all.
That one in Florida sucks, though.
Yeah,
don't bother going to Florida.
If there's one a year, the Super Bowl of PEZ conventions is in Independence, Ohio, or it was 2 weeks ago.
That doesn't really surprise me. I feel like Ohio is like the state that I'm just like, any random shtick stuff that I'm like, who's really into that? Like, Ohio.
Exactly. And you knew exactly what this was going to look like before I even showed you the picture, but you can see it's just like a freaking huge hotel ballroom just full of these booths. Yeah. There's booths lining the hall up and down outside of this ballroom.
Skinny people too.
Oh yeah, you can tell the weight is not a problem. These pictures might be a little stretched out to fit on the 16:9 format, but
we'll be kind. They're stretched.
On every kind of deed. This is also Ohio, which is not.
Well, I'm from Texas. I can't say much. We eat here, but.
That's right. This wasn't the workout convention. You got all these booths, and some of them like specialize, and some of them kind of don't. I like chatted to some booth owners. I'm like, how do you differentiate yourself with a room full of people selling the same stuff? And they're like, well, I don't know. I have these that are here's some old ones.
Yeah, yeah. I watched World's Greatest Collector, the Netflix show.
Yeah.
They went to Comic-Con and stuff. They were looking for comic book magazines and whatever. They wanted like the OG of all of them. Anyways, but those Comic-Cons are like humongous. And there's got to be 50 magazine dealers. So I mean, it's kind of the same thing in a way. Yeah, you have Superman issue 1 or whatever it is. And I have the signed by what's his name?
Stan
Lee. Yeah, exactly. But it's just one out of your booth full of stuff.
Well, I think the comic guys are probably like these PEZ collectors. They've got these books, right? Here's page 197 out of 300 in this book, and every variation of regular A and personalized Comet die cut.
Are those prices?
Yeah, those are exactly. Well, it's interesting you should mention that. I'm not sure if these are my next slides, but it became my mission to find what is the most expensive single.
Absolutely, yeah. Give it to me. I've got to know.
If we're going to get rich, we got to find the most expensive thing. Okay, well, hold your horses. We're going to get to that. This is what like all the booths look like, right? Just PEZ after PEZ after PEZ and some PEZ paraphernalia, right? You can buy the gun that shoots PEZ. This is for sure out of the 1950s, right? Ray gun.
That's kind of fun. You're like, open your mouth. Like,
I don't.
Pew, pew, pew.
I don't think you could get away with selling this today, you know? Yeah, exactly.
No.
Here, come here, brothers and sisters firing this into each
Yeah,
other's-
totally. You're like, open your mouth, Kalyn. Like getting my tonsils knocked out.
Choke on it
from
and die. You're like,
flying PEZ.
this is the worst PEZ disaster in the history of PEZ. Kalyn Kimmel dies at age 4 because her brother shot.
Yeah. My brother being tried as an adult at 9 years old.
For shooting PEZ at her. Yeah. Another way you can differentiate yourself at your booth is like you can make your own. So this guy like has a 3D printer and all these are made and they're pretty sweet. So
did you ask him what brand his 3D printer is?
no, I didn't. Why would I do that? I missed the joke.
Because of a company that I bought stock in, 3D, that I still own.
He's like, I don't know. It's got a DDD on it. I don't know. Is that?
That's it. At last, we're making him turn around. And finally, only took 15 years.
DDD finally found its niche, which is nerds who really want to make their own PEZ dispensers.
Yeah.
You can make PEZ art.
Of course you can, yeah.
Which is all this custom stuff. It's like, wow.
I'm surprised they don't have any of the gummy bear art that's no longer available on Etsy. But some PEZ dispenser love.
Exactly. Well, look at the one on the far left, upper left. That looks like PEZ dispenser love to me. Also, yeah. Animaniacs. Also, just blatantly stealing other people's intellectual property.
Totally.
With Wolverine
that's
and
what you do, right?
Chucky and the Gremlins and the rest.
Yeah, Chucky, but that's PEZ. Whatever.
Of course, you can get all the paraphernalia, all the really old stuff. These are like original PEZ containers on the right. Before they came out with PEZ dispensers, they had PEZ containers like an Altoids, basically.
Yeah.
And it turns out that they didn't have fruit and candy flavors. Originally, they were just peppermints in a can.
So they were Altoids.
This is like Altoids in the 1920s, yeah. PEZ itself, they started in Austria, and PEZ, the name, is a shortened form of peppermints.
It's Austrian? Okay, pause. Wasn't that the shortened word for Easter or something like that? Yeah, so I'm detecting a theme.
This is all part of the Illuminati's, the German, Austrian...
Yeah, the Germanic languages.
Infiltrating the minds of our youth through their candies.
And it's like, we trick you because subterfuge.
That's right.
To sell you shit, we make it very short. Yeah. Yeah. This reminds me of Antiques Roadshow also because they're like, at the right auction with the right buyer. And I'm like, who wants the original, the PEZ container? I want it mint. I want it sealed. No one ever opened it. I want the candy still in there from the 20s. And I will pay unlimited amount of money. Just name your price.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I think the typical story, I think, goes you get a bunch from a relative who passed, or you're at this thing and you buy one, you find a soccer ball one, so you really like that, or a University of Houston football helmet one. Yeah.
Yeah, I can see you wanting like one. I saw in one of your pictures they had soccer ball, and I was like, oh, that's the one that I would have picked if I was going to buy a PEZ dispenser.
Yeah.
But to want super old school, something that's never been opened and that... whatever. And this I feel is true with all of these kinds of items. Like anything that people are like, I want it from the 20s.
Yeah.
Still sealed.
Yeah. New
in box. And I will pay thousands of dollars for something that should be 5 cents. What do you even do with it?
Yeah.
Hope it continues to appreciate and that somebody else is a bigger sucker than you are and I'm willing to pay more.
Kalyn introduces the greater fools theory in the world of PEZ. That's exactly right. Well, listen, PEZ is tailor-made for this type of scenario, right? Because there's a million of them, a million different designs, different ages, different qualities, all this stuff, right? Like in my search for the most expensive items, right? One hint I got was like the dispensers and stuff like that. Like this stuff, the paraphernalia, could be worth a lot of money. So the thing on the spinny thing on the left is $900, and the topper itself is $450 with the merry-go-round children. On the right, the PEZ condom machine.
25. Yeah.
You being a girl probably haven't seen as many of these as I have in the men's rooms.
Well, we have our own, but they're with tampons and less fun.
The PEZ tampon dispenser. Like, you're at the bar, you're freaking lit up, you're peeing, you're just dying to have a PEZ to put in your rooster.
I'm like, man, I could really go for something small and sweet, but very strong, and I don't want to touch it. I just want to open some so I can take it out of the container, because it tastes better that way.
And
unadulterated.
Well, if you want that, then you have to Einwurf 2 und Sven 5. So
Doppel-PEZ.
Doppel. Yeah, this is a double box. You get a double box, and so that's for 2 times 10. Fund is cents, basically. So for 20 cents, you get your Doppel thing. Anyway, take note of this PEZ woman, because she's like on a lot of stuff. You may have picked up on it already, right? And you can
and that's $2,500, huh?
Yeah, exactly.
Oh yeah, of course. We got cosplay of the PEZ girl.
I was frankly very disappointed that there wasn't tons more cosplay, because I feel like PEZ lends itself very well to putting on a fake head and I don't know, something.
Yeah, and then straight suit.
If that Austrian PEZ girl got all tatted up, this is what she would look like.
And she dyed her hair, yeah.
Yeah, and they were like, you want me to take a picture with her? And I was like, I'm good.
You think?
But you asked, what do you do with this stuff? This is what you do. I met this man. He's from Oklahoma City. He was one of the nicest guys ever, and he was like talking through this whole thing. And this is, you can see this is on his cell phone. Yeah. This is one view of his storage room where he keeps his collection of PEZ stuff, and he was wandering around looking for specific things to check off his list to add to his collection. Man. It's unbelievable.
Crazy.
And he's like, my wife's killing me because I overflowed the closet. Now I'm taking over the office with this stuff. And I'm like, yeah, no kidding, you are.
Yeah, I don't know if I can love someone enough to, like, allow this in my house, you know? I don't know. Maybe I'm just too selfish or something, but I'd be like, look, like, I know there's fabric sculptures on literally the ceiling and everywhere else, whatever, but your PEZ shit has to go. Sell that shit. Get it out. We'll get a storage unit. You don't need to have it here. Same show that I was talking about, they had a room that looked a lot like this, but it was a guy who collected Nintendos and had every Nintendo ever that's come out, whatever, Nintendo 8-bit, blah, 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 and mint.
Yeah. Sealed.
And he had these games, so I didn't realize that, like, the number of screws in the back of the game tells you whether it's what edition it is, basically. I mean, There's like 5-screw version or a 3-screw version. I don't know. Anyway, and he had that 3-screw version of this game that only was released for 2 weeks and blah, 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 blah. So he sold it for like $100,000.
Yeah. No, for a game, for a cartridge. Nice.
For a game that you will never play.
Right.
Because then you've just lost tons of value. I don't know.
That, by the way, sucked in the first place. Yeah.
Right. There's a reason it was discontinued very quickly.
Well, I will say one of the the vendor that everybody was like, okay, that's the dude over there. He wrote the pricing guide. So PEZ is one thing that he does. One of his other major sidelines was Nintendo cartridges. So incredible.
I have the Nintendo. I have it set up in my house right now as we speak. I can go play Nintendo.
Yeah, I made fun of the games a little bit ago, but honestly, I think a lot of these games are great. And they did the best with what they had to work with.
Absolutely. The E.T. game, apparently that's like the worst game, like universally considered the worst game of all time. But I saw an interview with the guy who actually made it, and he was like, yeah, I didn't know what I was doing, really, but I made the worst game ever. But yeah, I can understand wanting to buy I would go and buy another version of Contra because sometimes like it gets glitchy or whatever.
Yeah.
And there's actually a store down the street from my house that has Nintendo games and stuff. But a sealed first edition game that you're spending $100,000 on.
You got to put that in your Nintendo cartridge room and explain that one to your wife.
Yeah.
Hey, honey, what did you do today? Oh,
It's 100 large on. Wait for it. It's the Olympic Games 3-screw version, sealed in box. Oh my god! Like, yeah, can you believe it, babe? I finally found it. It was only $100,000. We could have bought a house or
now little Jimmy can't go to college.
Yeah.
So I think this is our cornerstone investment advice for today, right? Is don't spend your money on $100,000 Nintendo cartridges.
But what you should spend money on is candy. And I have a gift coming your way. I have a preview of, yeah. So I found these. So they came with 4. I thought they were funny. The red one is red, pink, and I think yellow or something. So I thought you might want red. So I'm sending that your way. And also while I was there, I found in a 5-pack, but I felt it goes along with our mac and cheese. This is a face mask.
Oh.
So
Cheetos.
I took one and I'm sending the other 4 your way. So I figure on one of our podcasts in the future when you get it, then we can do a Cheetos face mask together. There's one other surprise in there that I can't wait for you to get it. You're gonna be so excited.
Hold that cheese face mask back up, Cheetos face mask. This has Andrea written all over it. So the episode that she joins us, we have got to do the Cheetos face mask. Okay, thank you.
I'm surprised it's citrus scented. Like, why did you guys didn't go with fake cheese smell or trans fat? I don't know.
What is the niche that we selected for this? Did they do they did a focus group? Like,
I don't know. They had a bunch. Like, they had all any junk food kind of thing. I'll just tell you what the other item that's coming your way is. It's a lip gloss. It's Mountain Dew. It's also about this big around. No joke. Your lips will be very whatever flavor Mountain Dew has. Regular Mountain Dew. I don't know what that flavor's supposed to be.
I mean, I can see the appeal to this stuff because, I'm sure people are like, I like to eat Cheetos and Oreos and drink Mountain Dew. So
I just wish we had gummy Cheetos and
I could spread Cheetos.
I could just have a face mask of Cheetos.
If I could spread Cheeto on my face.
Yeah, I love it. I want to rub it on my body, but I don't want it to be cheesy. I want it to be citrusy, and then I can eat Cheetos. And when I'm tired of the salty, I can have a gummy Cheeto, the sweet Cheetos. Salsa, yeah.
I get so tired of grinding up the Cheetos so I can spread them on my face.
So I can mix it make my paste with apothecary with my mortar and pestle. It's so tiresome. So
can't they just sell an easy tear pouch with a mask in it, and I can just put that Cheeto?
Yeah, I'm so curious. Some of them you probably remember, Andre and I did the one that was like it was like a sugar skull or whatever. So it looked like it had a print. I'm like, what is this gonna have printed on it? Hopefully orange. Like I can look like a Cheeto.
Maybe Chester Cheetah's face. That would be something.
That could be.
You mentioned Mountain Dew. Mountain Dew was you were probably missed it because you were sick this week, but Mountain Dew is in the news because J.D. Vance likes Mountain Dew.
Who's J.D. Vance?
Well, you're really out of touch with the news. He's the Trump's running mate for vice president, and he's been doing a perfectly terrible job of doing his stump speeches. So one section that was particularly bad, you'll have to go watch this because I can't play it on here, but one particularly bad section of his stump speech involved him. He basically was saying, no matter what I do, the Democrats are going to say I'm racist, Like, I drink Mountain Dew, and it's Diet Mountain Dew, by the way. He's like, I'm going to drink some Diet Mountain Dew. The next thing you know, they're going to say that's racist, Anyway, so I was thinking we should endorse J.D. Vance for vice president because he likes Diet Mountain Dew.
Yeah. Under Kamala.
He's under Trump.
Let's do a mashup.
Oh, okay.
I know.
Right.
We'll endorse him if he switches teams. Then, now we have the perfect combination. I don't even know who the vice president for the Democrats is.
That's the big news is she's searching. She's got it down to 3 or something.
Oh, interesting. So I think I sent you this, but oh gosh.
Oh right.
But
Here we are.
And I don't know where he's from, but
Ohio, senator from Ohio.
Yeah. So then he's in the right state.
This is
because you guys are Mountain Dew or soda.
This is the subtle genius of Donald Trump, man. He knows Mountain Dew is going to win the hearts of voters in the Rust Belt. So
yeah, I'm surprised. I thought Dr. Pepper was from Texas. Maybe I'm just associating that with Whataburger.
I thought it was Waco, Texas. I thought, but
yeah, but it's not. It's the most popular in Oklahoma, Arkansas, and Nebraska. Oh.
Well, you cannot compete with
Yeah.
Coca-Cola in Texas. Do you remember this? We moved down to Texas, right?
Oh yeah, you say I'll have a Coke. What kind?
Yeah. And your friend Aaron comes over, and Mom offers her a pop, and Aaron is like,
And she was like, "What?"
I don't know what she's saying, Kalyn. What is this sound coming out of her mouth? All right.
Yeah, no, I still say that. I would say right now I'm drinking a Coke, but what I'm drinking is
Dr. Pepper.
a Dr. Pepper.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
that
It's
I have to say, I don't pick on many people's like how they say things and stuff like that, but that is amongst the dumbest things there are, is saying, you want a Coke? Yeah, I do. What kind of Coke do you want? Diet Mountain Dew. And you're like, that's dumb.
Yeah, I guess since I'm inoculated, whatever. Whatever the word is for being, I've been surrounded by it so long that now I'm a part of it. Yeah, I guess it feels to me like Band-Aid. Okay, you need a Band-Aid.
I know.
Or whatever. Yeah. You want a Kleenex?
Yeah.
Nope. I want a Puffs.
Right.
Or whatever. I get. That's the only other brand I think of tissues. But so that's what it feels like. But
yeah. Band-Aid is your best example instead of bandage. But
yeah.
All right.
But
shall we return to try to find the most expensive PEZ thing in PEZmania?
Yes.
Okay.
Oh, sorry. I thought since the slideshow was over,
I stopped it because we changed topics to. Anyway, it doesn't matter. So
back to PEZ.
Yeah. All right, here we go. I was searching around. I was looking. All right, what can we find? First booth, we've got some $35, $30, $60. It's like this one's got a metal pin. $60. Don't waste my time. We got the guys in cellophane that are good and old, and that he's worth $130.
That's
close.
what you
not
want.
good.
You want it wrapped up.
Yeah. Original packaging if possible. Also not close. Now we're going to the next level. Yeah, $1,100 for this guy on the left and $22.50.
What even? Okay, are these like a character that I don't know? What is that? Is it it's like a person dressed up like an owl or something?
Yes.
Not a mannequin dressed up as an owl with weird Sigma eyes.
Hand painted on, probably, right? Those eyes. Yeah.
I hope so. It doesn't look like a super sharp. All of the plastic on the 2100 one, like it doesn't. It looks like the plastic needs to be trimmed off. Whatever. The seams.
Yeah, those flashings make it extra valuable. Yeah. I don't know.
Flawed.
If that's not enough, you can get the $5,000 pineapple head one. And I learned from this, the Oklahoma City guy was like, the one. I was like, why are they different price? Same thing. The one on the left has that little X, which means there's some issue with it, some flaw.
Devastating flaw. You lost 10% of your value.
Yeah, $5,500. Yep.
For a PEZ dispenser.
$8,000. These are the style that they had before they thought about putting character heads on top. They just had the Zippo look.
They're like, let's make it look like a lighter.
Exactly.
Just like a lighter.
The kids are going to love it.
They'll use it for their candy cigarettes.
Exactly. Hey, little Timmy, come play with this candy lighter.
Sponsored by Marlboro.
The $400 one says arithmetic dispenser, whatever that means.
Yeah.
And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and all the numbers.
So you can do your arithmetic. You can like mark down how many you've used or whatever, or something like that.
Yeah,
it'll tell you what you're on. You got like 7 left.
What?
This is what we did.
What you doing, Billy? I'm clicking. I'm on 337. Wow. Can I have an arithmetic dispenser, Mom? Dun 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 dun. Arithmetic dispensers brought to you by the PEZ Company from Deutschland.
From Deutschland.
Brought to you by Marlboro.
And we're smoking the tobacco once we get the kids hooked on this action. Yeah, one more. One more.
Smoke. Rockin'. Yeah. All right, I think the next slide is the top, which it's a little bit of cheating.
I can't wait.
Because this is just the top at the show, obviously, but the next one's cheating because it's not a single item. It's a collection, but here it is. The Disney set, $25,000 for the complete set of Disney characters.
6? Is it 6 or 7?
It is 6.
It is 6. Okay.
Dumbo is the far left there, the next display.
And look at this, the pirate.
It's Captain Hook from the Disney
yes.
movies. Yeah, you can see it's still skin colored, and somebody's individually painting those teeth, I'm sure.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
And now we have machines.
And now it's all done by machines.
It reminds me, back when I was traveling a ton, you got HBO in the hotel rooms, and one of the HBO shows that was huge was Real Sex, right? And so one of the episodes where they find, like, they have the episode on the people into bondage. You've probably watched all these given you like nudity and stuff. But the one I remember is when they visited the dildo factory in like Guatemala. And so there's all these like chubby Guatemalan grandmas like picking up the dongs and painting the realism of the veins and stuff on there. And they're just chit-chatting away and painting the dildos. A wonderful memory of my youth.
Yeah.
Oh, the glory
days.
So
hard growing up.
Travel is so luxurious and exotic. You get to...
Yeah, I remember the HBO being like, oh, right, we're staying in a hotel. I've got a hotel so I can watch HBO, whatever.
Because you know what, Kalyn? That was another thing our parents... That was another thing our parents didn't spend money on.
Hell no, they would not buy that. I'm amazed we had cable. I'm amazed that we had cable.
Movie in existence in the history of man, and it'd be a solo premiere. It's the only place you could watch it, and our parents would not get that. Get HBO, forget it.
Hell no. The only reason we have HBO now is because it's free with the phones. Like, man, they love their DVR so much. They're like, we will record everything that comes on Showtime for the next month and fill this sucker up so that we can have it all.
Yeah.
And when it goes away, it's okay. We don't have to worry about, will we be able to watch the Mask of Zorro? We got it. Occasionally their DVR has gone out and oh man. I will hear about it for like weeks. They're like, well, we had that episode of Sunday Morning that had the elephant and the dog that were best friends. We had that on the DVR for 6 months.
And the Weird Al.
6 months is not accurate, actually. 6 years is about right for that particular episode. I personally have been made to watch it 3 or 4 times. Mom loves it. She knows the elephant's name. It's the best thing in the world. And when it went away, she still talks about it sometimes. She's like, yeah, I don't have that episode anymore. Yep, but you do have 27 episodes of Law & Order SVU. So
funny. Do you remember Free Preview Week on Disney Channel when we were kids?
No.
Oh my God. That was like the best week of your life. All of a sudden you can watch like all the Disney cartoons. You can watch, Mickey Mouse Club, for a couple of days. Right. And then it fades back to like squiggle.
And then you're static. Like, harsh reality. Our parents are cheap.
HBO would have its preview week and you could watch Fraggle Rock if you got up like stupid early and you're like, oh my God, Fraggle Rock. See? Yeah, the harsh reality.
Yeah, I remember friends who had that stuff all the time and I was just like, wow, what did your parents do? Like, how are you so rich? Odd. I'm like, man.
And they're like, yeah, my dad's a chemical engineer and my mom's a dietitian. They're just not as cheap as yours.
Yeah, right?
But, yeah. Hey, it's not all bad. I mean, you inherited that frugality and...
Oh, no, yeah. I'm sitting here going like, well, when I said spending $50,000 on a game, I'm like, man, let me think of the things that I would part with $50,000 for. There's not that many. They're big things, like a car. I mean, I would not want to do it all at once either. I would be like, why would I pay $50,000 cash? But down payment on a house.
Yeah.
There's Birkin bags on Poshmark for $50,000, like a bunch of them. I just looked last night at this, and I'm like, a used purse for $50 large, and you're buying it online? You're like, I trust this seller. They didn't do anything. I don't know.
They're rated 4.3 stars with 17 ratings, so what's not to trust?
Well, I mean, yeah, they have the one Birkin bag that I want, and I'm gonna have to walk my ass to the bus stop and stand there with my fucking Birkin bag because I won't be able to afford a car. But I mean, I don't know. There's a lot of them listed on there too.
Somebody told me just the other day that like the Goodwills of the world are getting smarter about, filtering.
They are.
Yeah. What have they implemented? They've started
Which
selling
sucks.
stuff online to directly, right? Yeah, but you remember.
So some of them sell online. There's sorters or whatever, the people who like put price tags on. Now they all have boutiques or whatever, and so they don't know all. Like, of course, they don't know all the brands because nobody. I don't even know all. I don't know all the brands for sure, but
Yeah.
Now it's like it's a lot less common that I got those Prada boots that were like brand new. And they were like the same price as all other boots. Like maybe they were $12 or something like that. But that would not happen now. Like they would know that brand. They know Lululemon for sure. So a Lululemon tank top is $20 at Goodwill. And I'm like, I can't sell a Lululemon tank top for $20 on Poshmark. So I don't know why Goodwill thinks it. But I don't know.
That was one of the big critiques of thrifting was like you're taking... that profit is money that should have gone to Goodwill and the charities that it supports, right? And I was always like, my view is always, this is not on the person taking advantage of this scenario. If Goodwill wants $200 for Prada boots instead of $12,
I'm not stealing from Goodwill.
Yeah, or the
I'm
people
not
that
like
are supporting.
putting it in my purse. They're still making the money that they request this amount of money. I give them that amount of money. Like.
Right. If they're too dumb to know how much money the Prada boots are worth, then that's on them. But if they have this
Absolutely.
they have these sorters that man this boutique, man, you got to do cavity searches or something. I mean, so some of these items.
And so it varies store to store. So I've noticed my regular store where I got the R&K evening velvet shirt that I'll wear for our nighttime podcast.
Robert and Kalyn at night.
They're
Robert and Kalyn at night.
But you'll have to wear a top hat and tails, so we can both be fancy. But yeah, so a couple examples of brands that I end up selling a good amount of on Poshmark are Vince and James Pierce.
Okay.
They're just plain t-shirts for the most part, but Goodwill does not know that brand at all. So I can still find that. They also took away the 75% off day, which broke my heart.
Wow.
But they opened discount stores.
Oh.
So you can go and buy things by the pound at these places.
Yeah.
Which is crazy because those places will have just as good as stuff. I found a Dior trench coat.
Yeah.
Had to be more than $2,000 originally.
Yeah.
I found that at the by the pound place. And after 2:00 every day, they're like, all furniture is now $5. So you can kill any. They have tons of furniture in there too. That all looks awful, but it's all $5 after 2:00. They also don't have enough carts, and people go, and you can tell people go, and they spend the day. Like they'll roll out like a row of bins that are just like overflowing with stuff, and it'll be like a family of 4. Like husband is sitting over on the side with one full shopping cart. Wife is like, you have to wait until they tell you can go up to the new row of bins. I mean, it's very aggressive, and I want no part of it. You have to stand, and there's jockeying for position, whatever.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'll just go to one of the other 15 aisles. Like, it's not like there's not tons of stuff. Anyway. So, yeah, but that's some real digging. Goodwill is already, I've got to go through a million different shirts that who knows if, like, it's already an endeavor, but that is, like, yeah, so, but sometimes you find good stuff, so if I'm in the mood for it, then, it's like cleaner dumpster diving.
But the game, the game is still on, though, anyway, so. All right.
Yeah.
I think, you read my mind, Kalyn. The world is dying to know what is the update on the 5-pound gummy bear. For new listeners, I don't even know how to explain.
For new listeners, this is our thing. I'm seeing how long it takes for me to eat a 5-pound gummy bear. Yeah.
One bite per podcast, and we missed a week
Yeah.
due to illness.
I was being sick. I was not in the mood for gummy bear. For just stuffing my face into a gummy bear. It would be something to see one of those competitive eaters go at one of these, you know? Like the guy who eats the hot dogs and stuff. Yeah. I mean, they eat more than this. They just be like... and then just like swallowing whole... Yeah, I can't think of the guy's name. The hot dog eating guy.
Joey Chestnut.
Wins every year.
Joey Chestnut.
Joey Chestnut. I'll put my dick on your chestnut. The Glizine champion.
What should we do?
We should look at our portfolio, right? Yeah, I think we should look at our portfolio, see how we're doing. It's been a while.
It has been a while.
Hopefully.
Don't get your hopes up. You probably missed this as you were sick too, but it's been an up and down ride for the stock market over the past couple weeks, including today, mostly down. So for new listeners, every week we pick something to invest in, typically on the stock market, but it doesn't have to be. And so we have a portfolio going currently with something like 14 positions. We're up today. Yes. Lifetime. We are down. We've made $30 today, but
down
over the past...
$3.40. That's all right.
Exactly. Our option in Denison Mines today, it's back up to 15 cents. It had fallen to 14 cents. So we're back in the green there.
Okay.
Fannie Mae has been tanking ever since it looked like Harris actually has a chance to win the presidency. Cameco has been a dog, down 18%.
Yeah.
I know from personal experience that uranium is sucking right now, down these kind of numbers.
Oh.
I don't do this too much, but I've been thinking about like topping up, buy the dip. I don't know if that's smart or not, but anyway.
I never know if that's smart. I'm too much of a chicken.
Well, here's the God's honest truth, Kalyn, is we don't know if any of this is smart. So,
yeah, clearly.
If you listen to this podcast, you don't know if it's smart either.
Yeah, we're just figuring it out, seeing what happens. Man, Reddit's so up and down. Last time we talked, Reddit was in the green. Now it's back in, but it was in the black. Wait, back in black. Yeah, I always remember which one's good from. I say Back in Black, the AC/DC song, and I'm like, oh. That means we're positive. Back in Black. That's what they're singing about.
Well, I think we should make more of our investment decisions based on rock songs and such songs like Know When to Hold 'Em, Know When to Fold 'Em, which is very helpful advice. The one I wanted to point out was Warner Brothers has been cooking lately. They lost that basketball contract that we talked about many episodes ago. So they are out and Amazon is in, but they're suing because they believed from their contract they had the right to match. So we'll see how that plays out. So I would have thought Warner Brothers would absolutely have tanked on this news that they lost the basketball contract, but it has been soaring. So that shows you right there what I know about investing in individual stocks.
You're going to be winning over customers. They're going to drop if you're like, I need basketball. So I guess that, Warner Brothers got to go. Not going to have that. I'll just do Amazon.
Yeah.
Now.
Warner Brothers' strategy was like, we'll get them in with basketball and then we'll convince them to watch National Geographic.
Dr. Pimple Popper.
It's genius. So why don't we do the scam of the week?
So I did more research on this one, and it turns out it is still, to date, the largest ever mining scam that's ever happened.
That sounds like a real, niche scam area. Mining scams, is that a common scam?
How he ran this scam is not entirely new. Michael de Guzman is a Filipino geologist working in Indonesia, but he kept being passed over for promotions, and so he decided to go out on his own. One of the islands in Indonesia has the largest gold mine in the world, and so he went nearby to the island Borneo, and he did a couple of digs and found, through networking with another geologist friend, he was like, dude, we gotta get some investors. And the guy's like, I've got you. I'm Canadian. I'll set us up. And so he found somebody give him $80,000 to buy this land. They drill down and have a big column from the earth. And so he sends off the sample, and he used his wedding ring and shaved off bits of his wedding ring. He does it just right. He sends it to a bunch of different labs, and the investor gets him on the stock exchange there. Over the course of this scam, he had to buy $61,000 worth of gold to do all this, by the way. He had to keep finding new sources of gold, which is ironic because he was mining gold. Anyway, so at that point, the stock's worth nothing. It's penny stock, right? That stock's now worth $30. So the investors are really excited. And he's like, time to expand. Let's do a second mine. So he buys more land and right by there, and he does the exact same thing again. All fake, but this time puts in a little more gold in and announces that it is the largest deposit of gold in the world. And investors go cuckoo for this. The stock price increases up to $300 a share at this point. At this point, the Indonesian government is like, you are making all this money and we're not. They say, well, we're taking 55% of these mines. So now de Guzman is like, fuck. Because now there's going to be other mining people like mining in the same space. And so he has that fire. So he loses all the records that he has. But he doesn't want to lose his value. So he decides to up the ante. And so how does he do that? Well, we had a little miscalculation when we said we thought we had this much gold. We were wrong. We were under by 25%. And so then the stock prices shoot right back up. Meanwhile, this competitive company is like, hey, so we drilled right next to where you drilled and we didn't find anything. So what's up with that? And he's like, shit, okay. And he goes back to Indonesia, and this is where things get real crazy because he's taking a helicopter and it's apparently just him and the pilot. And then the pilot turns around and it's just the pilot. This is when they're like 400 feet in the air over the rainforest. And so people are like, he killed himself. Or did he? Apparently, if you're going to choose a country in which to fake your own death, Indonesia should be right at the top of your list because you can pretty easily pay people off, get a dead body from a morgue, blah, blah, blah. A manhunt gets going. After 3 days, they finally find him. Well, only one person has ever seen him that identified him. But his hands and feet and penis were surgically removed, and then he'd been eaten by animals. So it was like his family never saw his body or anything like that. So there's a lot of people that think that he paid off the pilot or whatever. The other geologist had been taken to court, but he was found not guilty of fraud. Apparently that guy, who also had a cool $100 million, he lost all of it and died penniless. He got divorced. Silly rabbits, you can't be scamming people and not have a prenup. It's rookie. So yeah, his Aussie ex-wife got at least half of it. But yeah, at its peak, the company was worth $5 billion. Stocks trading at 300-ish. There's 5 or 6 women that claim to be his wife, and a number of them are still getting money very regularly. So that's more reason to think that he just absconded. So that is the story of Michael de Guzman and Bree X. All because he couldn't get promoted.
Yeah, I was just thinking about that day in the office when he gets passed over for promotion again.
And he's like, fucking done.
You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to scam these motherfuckers.
He's like, I am going to get mine for sure. So yeah. I think he was like, this is going to succeed. Like, whether it's going to succeed legit or not, whatever. He was very crafty.
Amazing, Kalyn. What a scam. So if you want to get rich, do your math, do your homework, do a good job mixing gold into the dirt, and most important thing we learned from that is get a prenup.
If you're going to be shady, get a prenup. Cover your ass.
Let's do podcast recommendation of the week. I'll make this brief. I've been thinking hard about this because I was like, do I want to go like newsy political or do I want to go investing? And I think just with the events of the week, I decided to go more political. Like I said last time, when I think about podcasts that like jump to the top of my queue, if there's an event like Kamala Harris becomes the candidate of the Democratic Party, the podcast I want to listen to for review and to see what his opinion is the Ezra Klein podcast from the New York Times. I know back to back of my podcast recommendations have now been this left of center, liberals, right? They're sort of both moderate Democrats. But I was kind of thinking about that. I was thinking, well, I think the guys that are more in my lane, I would be bored not being a little bit challenged by these points of view. Obviously, I'm not going to watch the, Andrea Cortez, the Bernie Sanders podcast is not for me because it's just, we want to go back to socialism and stuff. I'm not going to listen to that.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to listen to the far right-wing nuts either, so I want to hear those opinions that are just a little challenging, but not too challenging. And so I think Ezra Klein is another one of these just moderate, reasonable, as willing to pick on the Democrats further left of him as the people that are right of him, the same as Bill Maher, who I picked the previous week. So my podcast recommendation to you is the Ezra Klein Show from the New York Times. Check that one out. And with that, Kalyn, that leaves us 1 point left on the agenda, which is what the hell is in Kalyn's portfolio?
What the hell is in Kalyn's portfolio? The ticker is the letter S. And that's it. This stock is for SentinelOne. They are AI-based cybersecurity. I don't understand a lot of what they talk about, because it's like... They say that it's the world's leading autonomous AI-powered cybersecurity platform built on the first unified data lake. And I'm like, what? Data lake?
Hot damn, that's for us. Means, but, AI-powered cybersecurity data lake. We're in, Kalyn. This is it.
Yeah. So here's why I picked them, though. I'm not really afraid of much stuff in terms of the rogue forces out there, but one that I am afraid of is people hacking into the water supply. This has happened very recently. There was one in January of this year in the Bay Area. There was one in Florida a couple weeks after that. All of the systems to make our water potable, hackers can go in and be like, oh, let's increase the lye in this to a poisonous level. And then that's what's pumped out into all of our homes. If you imagine one of your more rural water stations, basically 2 plumbers in a community center. That's it. Big cities, you're probably fine. I'm probably fine realistically if something were to happen because we have full-time staff at the water treatment facility. So anyways, SentinelOne is one of the biggest companies that tries to protect for things like this. And on the business side of things, though, this week, CrowdStrike, they had a big fuck-up. And they had a really big bug. And so this is their number one competitor this week that basically all confidence has been lost in them. And so that's good news for SentinelOne. Doing
it's
great.
Such good news. They've dropped 8.5% over the course of the week. But the good news is you can buy the dip. But my more important reaction is the thought of North Korea coming in and being like, I know, we're going to go to Coos Bay, Oregon, and we are going to take over their water supply. And that will teach these filthy capitalists.
Well, as far as fresh water goes, we don't have much. And when you talk about rural areas, then we start to talk about farmland and having huge amounts of crops that could potentially get destroyed, in addition to the poor farmers who are going to be drinking this poisonous water. And apparently these attacks are happening a lot more frequently. There was an article published this week. So it's Russia, China are the two that were mentioned most prominently, but apparently one was hackers in France. And I'm like, what?
You're like, oh, mais oui.
We will take on the rural water cooperatives in Kansas and Nebraska.
I know just what I will do to the America. I will fuck with their water.
In Nebraska. How do you say?
Nebraska.
How do you say? Nebraska. My thought of this guy, Daryl, he's the local mechanic and he runs the general store and he wears his overalls down to the water plant and he's the guy and hey, Daryl, you want to put CrowdStrike on here? Sentinel or something? What? No, man. Put some more.
What?
Dump that bucket of lye in the top there. We're a little low.
Yeah.
One thing we really did well this episode, in my opinion, Kalyn, was lots of cultural sensitivity. Both in our treatment of the French and the people in Kansas and Nebraska.
And the people in Ohio at the PEZ.
All the people who like Mountain Dew, and yes, the Pezomania, yes, the cat, the Philippines. So anyway, if you have more time than money and you want to come for hard-pressed advice, like get a prenup before your scam, and, of course, a dose of cultural sensitivity, the place to come is, cue the music, Robert and Kalyn Get Rich. This is a production of Robert and Kalyn Get Rich Media or something. It's not really, because we made up that company. That's okay. Whatever it is, we want you to go on.
It's our big scam.
It's part of our big scam. Exactly. We want you to go on and rate us, review us, send us to all your friends, and invest $80,000 in our mine so that we can scam you with gold.
Yeah.
Do not
Send us an email.
That's it. Robert and Kalyn Get Rich at gmail.com. Kalyn is spelled Kalyn. And make sure that one thing, despite us asking you for $80,000, that you do not construe any of this as financial advice. With that, Kalyn, we are done with our sandwich episode, squeezed between your illness and my vacation. Ladies and gentlemen, hopefully this has made your drive home a little more entertaining. And until next time, we will see ya. Bye.